A brass plaque prominently identifies an important site. Think historical landmarks, memorials, hospital donor walls, walks of fame. Many professional firms identify their offices, and many homes display their addresses with an elegant plaque made of brass. A brass plaque makes a bold and lasting statement. Making one begins with a wooden model minus the lettering, covered in artificial leather where they want a bumpy texture. They use this model to cast an aluminum pattern. A typesetter draws guidelines on the pattern for the inscription, then glues pewter lettering on the lines. Getting the pattern perfect is essential, as this is what they use to make the sand mold for casting the brass plaque. The typesetter hands off the pattern to the molders, who spray the surface with a release agent, the industrial version of non-stick cooking spray. This will prevent the pattern from adhering to the sand mold they're about to make with it. After laying the pattern in a high-edged steel frame, they pour in a mixture of silica sand and resin, filling it to the top and compacting tightly. After 15 minutes, the resin cures, binding the grains of sand. The molders then flip the frame and lift off the top half of it. A hard block of sand is in the bottom half, containing a mirror image of the plaque pattern. This is the sand mold with which they'll cast the plaque in brass. The molders now spray the surface with a solution of alcohol and graphite. Then they burn off the alcohol with a lighter, leaving behind a film of graphite. This heat-resistant layer will prevent the sand mold from eroding when it comes into contact with the molten metal. Workers charge the furnace with brass ingots, as well as with pieces of excess brass from previous castings. The furnace temperature, 2300 degrees Fahrenheit, liquefies the solid metal in about 20 minutes. Then the molders pour the molten brass through a hole at the top of the mold. The hole feeds two channels leading to the cavity. The metal begins solidifying immediately. However, it's a good hour before the casting is fully hardened, at which point they open the mold to extract the plaque. Attached to it are runners, excess metal that solidifies in the channels leading to the mold cavity. So after knocking the sand out of the frame to release the plaque, they saw off the runners, then throw them back into the furnace to be remelted for the next casting. They grind the edge of the plaque with an abrasive wheel, smoothing the nubs where the runners were cut off, and making the plaque perfectly round and straight-edged. With the steel scraper, they clean up the surface, removing flakes of metal and remnants of sand and graphite. They dissolve sulfurated potash in warm water. This chemical solution oxidizes metal, creating what looks like a natural patina, a darkening of the surface that develops with age. After preparing the solution, they transfer it to a large basin. A kiddie wading pool does the trick. Then they dip the plaque, keeping it submerged until they get enough patina to make the brass look antique. They rinse off the chemical with water and dry the plaque with compressed air. They gently press a vibrating abrasive belt against the plaque. It polishes the raised surfaces, removing their patina and restoring their brassy shine. This finishing creates depth by highlighting the relief against the dark background. Just one last step before the plaque is ready to take its rightful place. Workers spray the surface with a coat of clear urethane. This prevents the brass from tarnishing and protects the plaque from weathering when mounted outdoors.